All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, members present, everybody's here, accounted for. Do we have any community comments on closed session items?
We do not.
We're good on that, fantastic. I'm gonna motion to go into closed session, please.
Second.
Okay, we can just take an all vote. In favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, we're in closed session, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, Patrick,
and then you'll make the motion.
Heather, are you ready?
We're all good? All right. Okay, everybody, let's go ahead and call the meeting back to regular session. If we can, I get a motion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? No? Fantastic. Okay. 3.2. Oh, hold on, I take that back. We have some things to report out.
Report out.
So before we get going, let me get these squared away. In closed session, the Board of Education took action on an MOU between VVUHSD and CSEA to address a concern regarding special education instructional assistants working in the transportation department. That was voted with 5 yeas and no nays. So it has been passed. Okay, in closed session, the Board of Education took action to approve a resignation agreement and general release with employee number 18536. Employee agreed to voluntarily resign effective September 15th, 2022 in exchange for a lump sum of $35,000. The votes were unanimous again, all 4 yeas. All 5 yeas. No nays. In closed session, the Board of Education took action on approval of a payment to Mountain View Chevrolet totaling $405,322.94 for 7 district vehicles. The board once again approved this, unanimously. Excuse me.
And then, Mr. President, just for the record, just for the audience to know that that amount of money that was just approved for Mountain View was already approved in the budget, and no additional expenses to the school district at all.
Perfect. Thank you, sir, for clarifying. Appreciate it. All right. Now we can move on. So we got 3.2. All the members are present today. Everybody's absent. 3.4. Let's go ahead and with the Pledge of Allegiance. Dr. R, would you be so kind to lead us?
Absolutely. Please stand. Put your right hand over your heart. Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Okay, 3.5, we have the approval of the agenda.
With the caveat, we're gonna pull a couple items.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
So under 10.1, certificated personnel, we're pulling the 2A and 3A, the 24 hours for counselors and teachers until we know what the plan is for that kind of professional development. We totally support, we just need to know more of a plan, as well as we want to have the consideration for CSEA to have the same type of opportunity for their people. So at this time, we're pulling 10.1, number 2A and 3A.
And we will work collaboratively with CSEA and VVTA to kind of develop a plan of how to use those funds and to best meet their needs for professional development. But I agree that that needs to be a whole transparent process of what that will look like. So thank you.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Okay, so with the amendments, we're going to go ahead and move to the, make the motion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Nobody opposed. Okay. All right, let's move to 4.1 public hearing. We got to open that up for at least a minute. I got 5:45 right now, so 5:46, unless there's anybody that has any thoughts they'd like to share. Okay, without any thoughts, we're going to go ahead and move on. Thank you so much. 5.1, we've got College Board National Hispanic Recognition Student Award.
Dr. Yee is going to go ahead and do the presentation.
Fantastic. Is that the speaking chair?
All right, good evening. Welcome, Board of Trustees, Mr. Coles and Patrick, good to see you. And audience, I am so excited because this evening wanted to share that we are recognizing some of our students. Each year, the College Board recognizes students who have achieved academic excellence in school and outstanding performance on their PSAT or their National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test or their PSAT and or the AP exam. And there are 4 different categories that the College Board has a program to honor these students. And the 4 categories include the National African American Recognition Program, the National Hispanic Recognition Program, the National Indigenous Recognition Program, and lastly, the National Rural and Small Town Recognition Program, which awards these academic honors to underrepresented students. So last month, in August, the College Board awarded 62,000 students from across the country, and 3 of those students are our very own Victor Valley Union High School District students. So this evening, these 3 students will receive the national recognition under the category of National Hispanic Recognition Program. And we are so proud of their accomplishments, especially as today is the first day to celebrate National Hispanic Heritage Month. So we are very excited. We do have one student, Genevieve, and she is not able to be with us today because she no longer resides in our area and she moved to another district. But we did call her and we wish her and congratulate her. We will be mailing the certificate to her, but she cannot be here this evening. And she is from Sims, and her name is Genevieve Ramos. We are so proud of her anyways. And I wanted to introduce also 2 students from Silverado High School. And the first one is going to be Fabian Luna from Silverado High School. And the second one is Julian Contreras, also from Silverado. And I'm going to grab the certificate real quick.
Probably never a good idea to correct my boss, but I am going to let her know that this is Fabiana Luna, who is with us today, and I'm going to have her join me. I am incredibly privileged and honored to present these 2 Silverado students this afternoon. These are some of our top performing Hawks, both of which will likely be vying for Val and Sal come the end of the school year. And what I want to share with you that is unique about these 2 is they actually both got there taking 2 very different paths. So first I would like to introduce Fabiana Luna. She took AP Spanish 5 as a sophomore, which is kind of unheard of. That's usually something reserved for our seniors. She has taken a total of 12 advanced placement classes. And I also want to say on a personal note that Fabiana is an excellent advocate for herself. She had a little situation with a teacher earlier on this school year, and she came to my office and acted better than most adults do who come that way. So I want to say that specifically about Fabiana. In addition to her academic accolades, she's going to be wonderful in her adulthood as well. Julian Contreras was supposed to join us this evening, and I don't see him, so hopefully he didn't get lost. I know he had some ASB obligations that might have kept him. He is also at the top of his class. But he has taken a different path. He has actually gone the path of Victor Valley College dual enrollment program. And he also took AP Spanish 4 as a 10th grader. But he has earned 54.5 high school credits through dual enrollment with VVC. So he's going to be very close to graduating with both his high school diploma and his associate's degree from VVC. So 2 top performers, 2 very different paths. We are extremely proud of them, and we are grateful that you have chosen to recognize them this evening for their accomplishments. Thank you.
Fantastic. Ms. Conklin, can we have them come forward? Can we have her come forward? Yep. You guys come on up. Is Mom here too? Yeah, just right up front. Mom out here too. Right up there. Jose's up there. Yep, come on up. Congratulations to you, by the way. Congratulations. Awesome. Do we are we all in here?
People here.
Sorry, let me.
Experience of hands.
It's okay.
Come on, this is
Come on.
okay.
I'll stand
All right.
sideways.
I can see everybody. Okay, give us a nice big smile. All right, thank you.
All right. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Okay, let them know. Okay, let's, 5.1, we are good. Okay, 6.1, we have a presentation of unaudited actuals.
Hi, good evening, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Coles, and Cabinet. I'm Shantae Milton, and tonight I'll be presenting our unaudited actuals for fiscal year 21-22. Next slide. So the reason we do this is to be in compliance with Ed Code Section 42100. We have to submit our unaudited actuals to the San Bernardino County Office of Education by September 15th, 2022. The unaudited actuals summarize the actual amount of revenues and expenses for the fiscal period of July 1, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. This report tonight will reflect any changes that happened from our estimated actuals that we presented in June along with our adopted budget. It also identifies changes to any beginning balances, identifies restricted and unrestricted carry forward, and this is just to provide an update of our financial information both to the board, to the county, and to all of our stakeholders. Lastly, the unaudited actuals, they become the basis for our auditors when they're checking our financial statements. So these are very important reports. Next slide. So this slide just represents our budget cycle for a fiscal year. By June 30th of any fiscal year, for June 30th of a prior year, we adopt a budget. So for 21-22, so by June 30th of 21, we would have adopted a budget. Then there are several different reportings that we must do throughout the year to the CDE and to the board as well. So our first interim report is due December 15th. Second interim is due March 15th. And then lastly, where we are today is our unaudited actuals, which are due today, September 15th. Next slide. The adopted budget is the initial budget for any fiscal year, and they're built upon any assumptions that we have at that time. Interim budgets reflect changes that may be made after we adopt a budget. So those changes may come about when the state adopts its official budget, which usually happens around June 30th of a fiscal year. So that's usually after we've already prepared our adopted budget. So our first and second interim periods will reflect any changes that happened during that time. During the last quarter of the year, the budgets are adjusted, and we provide you guys estimated actuals for where we think we're going to land at the end of the fiscal year, which happens on June 30th. And then again today, we're here presenting what actually happened, and so these are our unaudited actuals. Next slide. For our combined general fund, our total revenue for the year was $178.9 million, most of which came from our LCFF funds. So those are our state apportionment funds. LCFF is the calculator by which we determine what our state apportionment will be. And so for this year, it was $144.1 million. And then we also have additional revenues from the federal government, $17 million, other state revenues, $15 million, and we have some local revenues, $2.5 million, which is made up of like developer fees or other miscellaneous revenue that comes into the district. Next slide. Our combined expenses for the year, and now this is unrestricted and restricted, was $183.6 million. Of that, the bulk of that, which you guys can see, is our compensation. So our certificated and classified salaries and benefits make up the bulk of our expenses for the general fund, excuse me. Services and other expenses make up about $23 million. And then there's other books and supplies, maybe $10 million, and other about $4 million. But you can see the vast majority of our expenses, it's 79% for the combined general fund are our compensation expenses. Next slide. So this just represents a summary of what we just gone over. But so our total general fund revenue, nearly 179 million, expenses about 184 million. So the deficit for the combined general fund is 4.7 million. Other finances, that's $3 million. So that's $3 million that is we transfer from the general fund. That is our redevelopment money. We transfer that from the general fund to Fund 40 for facilities projects. So that's what that $3 million is. Our beginning balance in the combined fund was $59.7 million, and we ended the year at a bit over $52 million. On the next couple slides, we'll go a little in depth about the different funds. Next slide, please. This is combined again. I won't repeat too much here. I'll just point out again that our total revenues were about 179 million, and that our salaries and benefits, so our total compensation was 145.9 million, or 79.5% of our total combined general fund expenses. Next slide. Okay, so now we're going to look at our unrestricted general fund. So for our unrestricted general fund, our total revenues were 119,404,463. But total LCF revenues, 144,061,540. So there's an offset to our revenues, which is our contributions. So the unrestricted general fund makes contributions to our restricted programs. What I will say about the LCF number, though, that is an increase of $5 million versus what we brought you guys, versus the estimates that we brought you guys in June. And so that $5 million is due to changes that the state adopted with their budget, primarily the COVID ADA relief. So that benefited our district by the tune of nearly $5 million. So the contributions that I spoke of, so there's contributions of nearly 27 million, and that offsets our general fund revenues. So our contributions primarily go to our special education programs. That's 21 million, a little bit over 21 million, and then to our routine maintenance, which is 5.5 million. And so we are obligated by statute to transfer 3% of our general fund expenses to our routine maintenance on an annual basis. And so for last year, that was 5.5 million. Our total expenses were 128,678,857. Of that, compensation was nearly 112 million. And so of our unrestricted general fund, our compensation, meaning salary and benefits, represented 87% of our expenses. And please note that also includes the 7% salary increase that we did for 21-22. Although we approved that in July, we did accrue that back, so we booked that back to the prior year, so that portion is already accrued, and that's what's reflected here. The ending balance of our unrestricted general fund was $36,498,856. Of that amount, the undesignated was $30,131,684, or 19.15%. So for last year, we did deficit spend by $9.3 million. However, that is down from our estimates that we had been giving you throughout the year. We were planning to deficit spend about 12 million, 13 million, but due to the changes in our revenues, it's down to $9.3 million. So some things that we need to consider, just for our future considerations, we want to consider that for the last 2 fiscal years, we've given salary increases of 12%, but we've only received COLA of 5.2%. 0.07% for the last 2 fiscal years. So it's just something for us to consider as we're moving forward and planning for the next couple of years. Although deficit spending is not inherently bad, no, it's not, but we want to make sure that we're not making decisions to where we are creating structural deficits that we won't be able to sustain 3 years, 5 years out. Based on these numbers and based on our projections, for 22-23, we do expect to continue to deficit spend by $4.4 million. However, by fiscal year 24-25, we will no longer be deficit spending. Now, that's just with everything status quo as it is. So our considerations for that are future COLAs. This is based on future projected COLAs that the state has given us that may or may not materialize. We have to be cognizant of inflation. We thought inflation was coming down, but inflation keeps continuing to hit historical rates. Lastly, we have to be cognizant of any bargaining unit negotiations that we have going on. So again, we just want to be aware, and we don't want to create any structural deficits for our future. Next slide, please. So this slide is just our restricted general fund. And so I'll be brief on our restricted general fund. Our restricted general fund, they're one-time monies, and they're given to us for a specific purpose. So for last year, we had revenue of nearly 59.5 million, expenses of 57.9 million, and our ending balance was 15 million. The thing we have to keep in mind about our restricted fund is that it is one-time monies, and they're one-time dollars. So we just have to be cautious about committing permanent expenses to these one-time dollars, because that is something that we have to deal with in future years. Next slide. So for our next steps, we recommend that you guys approve our unaudited actuals as presented. Next slide. And that brings me to the end, unless there's any questions.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have guidelines for public comment. Mr. Coles, you'd be so kind as to read us the dissertation, please.
If you wish to address the board on any topic, including any item on the agenda, please submit your comments to the board president by completing a request to address the board card prior to the meeting and submitting it to the assistant to the superintendent. The president will recognize those who desire to speak either during the public comment section of the agenda or before the particular agenda item. Each speaker must move quickly to the microphone and announce your name before beginning your presentation. Meetings are taped for later transcription. Each speaker is allocated a maximum of 3 minutes. The president may choose to limit each topic to 10, no more than 20 minutes. If substantial numbers of people wish to address the board on one topic, testimony should be brief and to the point. Speakers should not repeat testimony already presented. Board action may not legally be taken on any item not specifically listed on the agenda. The board may ask that such items be placed on the next agenda for consideration. Testimony is not protected from damage claims for slander. Public charges or allegation may result in legal action being brought by those individuals. The board values constructive community comments and suggestions. It welcomes your participation in the democratic process.
Thank you, sir. Okay, first one we have is going to be Maria Gaitan.
Good afternoon. My name is Maria Gaitan. Thank you for having me. I'm here because I'm here to petition my release of a teaching contract. I'm having a very difficult time on my driving. I drive from Orange County to here, and I have 3 kids, and unfortunately my husband is making this very difficult. I'm very in a level of anxiety, stressful, and I petitioned this on August 11th. I talked to the principal at Silverado, and she suggested to reach HR. I did. I spoke with Ms. Bazar, and she said to email her with my request. And weekly, I've been asking her what's going on, what has the process, because she said that it would take 2 weeks up to a month, and it's already, I reached her on August 11th, and today it's September 15th, so I haven't heard from her, other than we're interviewing people, but I haven't heard anything else.
All right, thank you. Okay, James Campbell.
Good evening. My name is James Campbell, president of NAACP Victor Valley. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the OCR report, primarily how it was just a shock to us in our community. I just want to say that I'm thankful that I did get Mr. Moman to be able to come out. I'm thankful that I got a chance to meet Mr. Coleman. But I do want to mention that there was some shock, there was some outrage, and we hope to, work with you guys very closely in support for these young people. So that's why we're here tonight, but to let you know that we're here. So that's all I wanted to say for now. But thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, Bill Thomas.
Good afternoon. My name is Bill Thomas, and I just want to piggyback. There's only one spokesperson for the NAACP, and that is the president. But I'm a past president, and I ask him for the privilege to come up and address you. Like Mr. Campbell, we're deeply disappointed that this happened. I'm particularly concerned because it happened on my watch as I was president, and I didn't really see it coming. But our concern, again, is our children, and we want to see that any future activity is going to prevent this, alleviate it. And we definitely want to be involved in whatever measures you take, any committee assignments or whatever we want to be involved in. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Last one, we have Fran.
I don't like talking up here. I get nervous because the camera's on me, and I hear it adds like 200-300 pounds, and it makes you look bald.
Just pretend we're all 17
But
years old and
I
you'll
want
be
to
okay.
reiterate what I talked about last time. And Mr. Coles, people around here can tell you I don't usually talk at the mic. So it's rare 2 times in a row. But I felt as though maybe I wasn't being as clear as possible with some of the things. The data collection day, the warm body count, whatever the purpose of that is, if you really want to get the actual warm bodies, I think it's a poor choice to make it Wednesday. We have some kids who regularly miss on Monday. They take a long weekend, regularly miss on Friday. Another set of kids take a long weekend. So those are bad days. Wednesday is an early out day. And early out, sometimes the kid is forced to stay home because their parent won't drive them. There isn't a pickup. Maybe they got to watch the kids at home, something like that. So if you want a true warm body count, it should probably be on Tuesday or Thursday. And then you would actually get the real number of kids. So I wanted to explain that a little bit better. There's still no Kleenex in the rooms. And all the while from the last board meeting to this board meeting, and I'm sorry, at my site, I didn't poll all the rest of the sites this time. But if you want and what I heard was that it's the secretary's job to order. And so in my ears, all I heard was, well, now you've placed the blame, you didn't solve the problem. And I go, I don't care whose fault it is. I really don't. And I'm not upset at any secretaries, and I'm not calling anybody out. They didn't know to order it. I don't know. Didn't investigate it. None of my business. All right? But there's still no Kleenex. And don't worry about whose fault it is, just worry about fixing it. That's all. Once again, because we don't want to spread germs. And then also, there's still, and I don't know, there may have been action, once again, didn't pull it, but teachers are still spending their money to give the kids we see as hungry food. And I said it the last time. The cafeteria can't handle that knock on the door. At Adelanto, the cafeteria workers do a hard job. They are preparing food for 2,000 or more people. They can't stop and feed a kid at the door. They're on a schedule. Appreciate that. Create a canteen or whatever you want to call it at each site where you can send the kid to the office and they can get some food. All right? And that's for the kids who go without for whatever reason. At that point, it's not an interview thing. It's not, don't find out why. Once again, it's not a blame issue. Who didn't feed you? Who cares who didn't feed them? They're hungry. Okay? The water stations. Apparently, there is no refrigeration in them. All right? But can we look into refrigerated bottle filters? Because I really thought that that's what it was going to be. I thought that's what the board had approved. And I remembered the dollar amount, and I thought for that dollar amount, it better have been cold water. All right, but apparently it's not cold water. But I don't know. Once again, not sure. Once again, not looking to place blame, looking to fix it. This is all for the kids. It didn't advocate for anything for myself or my colleagues. It's all for the children. And then just once again, want to say community schools would solve a lot of this. All right? And there's billions of dollars in the state of California to open up a community school or make your school a community school. It seems like a no-brainer. And after talking with Mr. Coles after the last board meeting, he said that he asked me what was LMI, so we had a discussion about that. And then he suggested other structures, so I look forward to seeing those structures appear to fill the void created by not having LMI, if that's the choice. And then also heard board members ask for student counts. So at the last board meeting, Adelanto had 2,215 kids. Today when I left school, we had 2,240 kids. We have 25 more kids than last time. There is your count. All right? And thank you for your time. Once again, I don't like the camera.
Okay, next we got VVTA.
Okay, well, good evening, everyone. I'm Jennifer Lovelace. I'm the VVTA Vice President. And as you can see, Mike's not here tonight, so I'm going to be reading his comments. Okay, good evening, Board and Cabinet. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month. 68% of our total population, over 2/3 of all our students, identify as Hispanic. With around 11,000 students enrolled at VVUHSD, there are about 7,500 Hispanic students on our campuses. We have many others working at our school sites and district offices, and we should remember the contributions of Hispanic individuals like Joan Baez, who fought for civil rights, saying, "We are not afraid today. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday." There is also Cesar Chavez, another civil rights activist, who helped lead the founding of the United Farm Workers Labor Union, declaring, "You cannot uneducate the person who has learned to read. You cannot humiliate the person who feels pride. You cannot oppress the people who are not afraid anymore." Happy Hispanic Heritage Month. At the last meeting, Mike came to you with two big concerns: class size and the sanitary conditions at the Lakeview Leadership Academy. Although the class sizes at Adelanto remain extremely large, after speaking with Mr. Coles and Dr. Rubalcaba, a clear plan is now in place to help our teachers teach students at manageable levels and within the confines of our contract. Please keep in mind that there are other sites where we still have overages, and we would like a timetable for when the numbers in our highly impacted classes will reach the contractual obligation for the sake of students and staff. It has further been made clear to me that there are signs the district understands our concerns about class size for Lakeview Leadership Academy's 7th and 8th grade classes being placed at high school class size levels. We appreciate you hearing our concerns and creating plans to act on those concerns. And we look forward to following up with our membership. As far as the health, safety, and cleanliness of Lakeview Leadership Academy is concerned, I again cannot say that conditions have improved yet, but I have personally spoken with Mr. Coles and Mr. Jurgensen, both of whom are in contact with each other and have plans to deal with some of the deep cleaning on the campus. Mr. Jurgensen tells me that they expect to have the shampooing of the classroom carpets completed by the end of our fall break, and that there may be more classified staff hired to meet this need. I feel there may be some real advocacy to ensure that this does not happen again, and VVTA will do its part to instill better communication among our members at our sites and begin the grievance process much earlier to avoid conditions like this in the future. The papers that Jen gave you this tonight serve 2 points. The first and shorter one is the product of a survey one of our site reps at Lakeview Leadership Academy created on behalf of our membership at the site regarding maintenance issues. The second is an email chain of one of our teacher members at LLA who has tried in vain to get the kids and adults cleaner conditions on campus. In this member's attempt to improve conditions at the site, he reached out to administration at the site level first, then the district level, but he was told that he quote, should have the kids pick up the trash. When the member said he didn't have any brooms or dustpan, he was then told, quote, if parents complain about this, our district should just let them go, unquote, basically telling our parents that they can take it or leave it. These quotes came from the district level, right here. My hope is that we move in a direction that doesn't obfuscate what our principles and intentions for our students are. And while there are still issues out there, it's great that some of our district level administration is reaching out to our association, listening and willing to work with us to reach solutions. The VVTA Executive Board and negotiation team are excited to have Mr. Cole's proposal to meet about the budget prior to a reporting of that budget at board meetings. Thank you for your time and have a good night.
Thank you. CSCA.
Good evening, board members, cabinet, and Mr. Coles. Don't have much to say tonight. I just want to thank Mr. Coles and Heather for making time for me this last 2 weeks. I've seen a huge amount of changes. I appreciate the board voting for the bus aids. It's amazing how we can get some things done very quickly. I appreciate it. I spoke with Mr. Coles last night, and I just appreciate his willingness to sit down, hear our concerns, and I look forward to working with all you guys in the future. Have a good night.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to take consent items 9.1 through 9.7. Can I get a motion?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. 10.1.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Let's go and vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 10.2.
So moved.
Second.
With the.
Discussion.
With what we pulled.
Correct. We've already made some items to pull. Heather, you've got those notations already on?
I did.
Fantastic. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Perfect.
Can I ask a
10.3.
clarifying question?
Sure.
I thought we had pulled from the certificated personnel report, not the
I
classified.
apologize. We
It
did
was
pull
the other
from
way.
the
I thought the same thing.
Okay.
We were already past it.
I just wanted.
She's got them notated anyways. Good catch, because I was confusing my.
We actually pulled it
It's
when we
reading. Yeah, it's okay.
okayed the agenda.
You're all over it, Caleb. There you go. Okay, 10.3.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, let's go ahead and vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? No? Okay, let's go 10.4.
So moved.
Second.
I got Barrios as a second on that. Any discussion? Let's go ahead and vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Patrick, you can feel to chime right in, okay? We'll let you know which ones you can't vote on. Sound good? We decided in the back that we're gonna go back to the old ways. Back in the day, we used to hold because of COVID protocol and whatnot, but now we can kind of get back to the normal thing.
Back in the Stone Age.
Sorry, what am I on? My agenda here is
10.5.
in my way. 10.5, thank you. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, Shanti did a great report. Shanti, are you still in here? Wonderful
She
job.
said, yeah, good job.
Thank you for the
Good job.
fact.
Thank you so much. Okay, let's go ahead and vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. 10.6.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, got Caleb with the second. Any discussion? Okay, let's go ahead and vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, 10.7.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, got Barrios with the second. Any discussion?
It looks like both those 10.6 and 10.7 will be beautiful at
Yeah.
Atlanta.
Absolutely.
Really stunning.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, 10.7, or excuse me, I apologize, 10.8.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, let's go ahead and vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. 10.9.
So moved. Second.
Fantastic.
Sorry, Barbara.
Any discussion?
Yeah.
Just one, my usual, okay?
And he does.
So with this,
Sounds good.
this is an upgrade, correct? In our Adobe system? I was gonna say, you could have told us from there, right?
He doesn't have that teacher voice.
No,
No, I don't.
no, this is basically just an upgrade from one system to a
So,
more
Our
updated system.
Adobe, our original Adobe contract was not renewed with the organization we purchased through, so we had to go with a new purchasing program. So it's a renewal of our Adobe. It actually is a better enhancement where all students have access to Adobe Cloud. But all of our staff that had it before will have actually more access than we did before.
And will they still offer support?
Yes.
For a
yes,
long
same
time?
Same as before. Yes.
Okay, good. All right, that's all.
All right. And then, yes, sir.
Wait, I have
Miss-
one more question. When is all of it gonna be installed on campuses?
It's already been installed.
Okay, cool.
So like at your campus, Mr. Garcia has it installed.
Well, yeah, because I've heard from multiple other people at schools that their graphic communications and classes like that have just like stalled in the last week because their license.
No, it's functioning completely in every
Yeah.
computer lab at this time.
Cool, thank you.
Perfect. All right.
Good, okay.
Okay, let's go ahead and vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. 10.10.
So moved. Second.
Second.
Okay, I got, you can decipher that one, I guess, whatever
Yeah,
you
it's
got.
kind of a
You
runner.
tell me.
I second it. Barbara moved.
All right, fantastic. Any discussion? Okay, let's go ahead and vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. 10.11.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I got Ms. Edmondson with the second. Any discussion? Okay, let's go and vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. 10.12.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion?
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
is it just a presentation for school generation? Because I know what the whole business is, what is it?
Go for it. No, go for it.
Yes.
I
Rescue
was gonna say,
Generation, you want to
yeah.
know a little bit more about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're actually going to be providing like assemblies, mentoring, coaching, you know what I mean, kind of supports for students, especially with regards to their mental health. So
Okay, so
they've
it's just
done
gonna be
this
like
for
a
many years.
station on campus?
Yeah,
Cool.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Great questions, though. Great questions.
Well, that would bring up the question, we've been using this program,
We have.
Mhm.
and the student's not even aware it exists.
Well, because it's, I know, we've had assemblies and like virtual stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
But this is like, I want to know if it's like a place on campus where we can go and talk.
Yeah, sounds good. Just want to make sure you guys are getting what we're buying.
Oh, yeah,
buying.
we've seen them before.
Perfect. Okay, good. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. 10.13.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I got Caleb with the motion, and I got Ms. Dew with the second. Thank you. Any discussion? Okay. Let's go ahead and vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. 10.14.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Is there a reason we need bus camera systems? Or do we just, are we just? doing it for safety?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For safety. student
Okay.
Safety.
It's primarily for student safety.
We're talking about safety.
Okay. Safety. I remember middle school bus rides.
Yeah. Safety.
And Mr. Coles, thank you for clarifying that we didn't have a request for a proposal, but we did piggyback with another district that's purchasing.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, 10.15.
So moved.
Second?
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. These ones you will not be able to vote on. Okay, sir. All right, 11.1.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposition. 11.2.
So moved. Second.
Okay, got Caleb at the second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. All right, let's go to, we got information items, 12.1, conference requests. We took a look at those. No questions? Okay, 12.2, educational study trip requests. Any questions, board members? Good. 12.3. Nope, no questions, okay. 12.4, it's a first reading. All received it, okay. Moving right along. Business services. I think we already got the skinny on that, so we're probably pretty good. And
Yeah. we
Debbie's not
are.
here, so okay.
We're good.
Good on that. Let's go to ed services. Dr. Yu.
All right, good evening, Board of Trustees again, Superintendent Coles, Executive Cabinet, and audience. Just really excited to share that in celebration and recognition awareness of National Suicide Prevention Month, our mental health clinicians have been working really well and collaboratively with Daybreak Mental Health to really provide parent workshops for suicide prevention. So those services are definitely taking place, and we want to thank the board also for approving that contract a few board meetings ago. We had 9 students who attended the University of Redlands last weekend. And these are our foster and homeless youth students who attended a conference, connected, learned more about, some opportunities and programs that support foster and homeless youth, received resources. So they had a lot of good information and great time. And I want to thank our foster and homeless youth counselor, Diana Shapiro, and also under the leadership of Michael Williford to make that happen. So they had a great time. I meet with Mike Mayo regularly. We had our second meeting this past week, and I know he's not here, but I just wanted to thank him for just his collaboration and really supporting our students in the areas of teaching and learning and everything else at services. And then also congratulations to our students. My apologies for pronouncing one of the names incorrectly, but we are so happy, especially as we celebrate National Hispanic Month and just the contributions that they have made in our world, and so appreciative of that. And those are my comments for this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Yu.
I have one question, okay?
Sure.
It's Suicide Prevention Month. Is there, or what class is suicide a topic that's being discussed? It used to be in health education. We no longer have health education. So what class would that topic come up?
It's not in the PP.
Yeah,
sir?
I don't recall that it's a class that we talk about, but I know especially nowadays that we have mental health clinicians that actually provide counseling services and have those assemblies or, group sessions and so forth to really get the message out there that if students need support, that we have resources for them. Counselors as well too, and administration.
Because I remember when we did offer health education in the district, that was one of the topics that, it was a topic. It wasn't just something that we talked about. And bad memories, but we did have a time where we had a large number of students that were at suicide. We made People magazine, okay? And there's got to be some place where we have that as it can be a topic, even if it's just for a few days, but everybody gets the information. Because, the clinician's only here when it's too late. The counselor's here when it's too late. We needed to get to some of them while they're still in that maybe stage.
See what I mean? So maybe that's something that we could put in our plan to offer students those sort of things, even if it's just a short period of time, just that exposure to it. Because a lot of students don't realize there's help out there. We could have all the clinicians in the world, but if Johnny doesn't know, he can go talk to him. It's no good.
Yeah, we can find out for you kind of what the process has been and then provide something to the board, because I agree. I mean, an awareness isn't any good unless you make people aware of it, you know, and some of the resources out there, so
Yeah.
we can do that.
Well, I know that some of the, like our district, we interject SEL type of lessons within like social studies, for instance. So that way there's that piece of caveat, like for instance, on like a PE day or whatnot, that's something a little bit, you know, it's not gonna intrude too much on the
We can
instructional
research
thing.
it and see.
Right, that way you have some of those pieces of, you know, cyberbullying, so on and so forth, and, you know, mental health and those kind of things, so.
Yeah, Josh knows. He was in my health class. He had to sit through my
I was in
boring,
his health
my
class.
boring
He
talks
was
on
my
these
health
things.
teacher, yes, he was.
And you're healthy.
You know,
And I'm healthy, I survived.
At the college, we kind of put these
Resources,
on,
it's part of every class because
every professor can post the, you know, the resources that we have at the college on, we use Canvas, but whatever you're using, Google Classroom or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that, and that's accessible for every student, no matter what class they're in.
And we once had a 24/7-hour hotline.
For suicide.
For students in crisis. I know that we somehow subscribed to that. Do you remember?
I believe that was,
I'm not
that was
familiar.
before your time, I think
Yeah,
that was
I'm
during
not
COVID.
familiar
Yeah,
with that.
that was in COVID, I believe.
Is it something we could look into again, maybe? 24-hour hotline.
I mean, it might be something we're paying for that we.
I think
we
already have something. It's a national hotline. I believe the hotline is always available.
It's always available.
Yeah, it's always
It
available.
is.
It's a matter of just making it available
Exactly.
to our students, as Mr. Coles mentioned.
Well, you know, what we could too, is have rallies sometime too, just to remind kids that there's help.
Yeah.
And then give them the help at that rally. Then make sure that all students are involved on that campus.
Okay. Dr. R, Human Resources.
All right, good evening, everyone. Want to start off with thanking CSEA. We had a wonderful new employee organization for almost 100 employees that we've hired. It was very collaborative and very successful. We've received some positive feedback thus far, and now that we're getting caught up, we're going to make sure that moving forward, we fulfill our contractual obligation to give CSEA unit members what they need and onboard them properly. Also want to thank CSEA, Mr. Coles, the board, for that MOU. As you heard the applause, they're very happy. The time is always right to do what is right, and we're glad that we were able to remedy that collaboratively with our CSEA partners. Also want to thank VVTA. They've done a really nice job of reaching out and letting us know what are some of the problems we need to work on together. And they've shared that they've actually resolved quite a few problems for us on their own, and we appreciate that as well. So we look forward to meeting with them whenever we can to solve problems together. Finally, just want to wish everyone a happy Hispanic Heritage Month. Thank you to our Hispanic community for its contributions, and want to wish everyone a wonderful weekend with this great weather that we're having. Get outdoors. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. 13.4 legislation, we did receive a couple of updates.
There's
Nothing-
only one other thing that I'd like to mention, that SB 490, remember that number, even for teachers and everybody else. Right now, we have the California Universal Meals Program, which provides food in the morning and for lunch. And we would like to have that bill vetoed because it will kind of hamper that program. The governor has 2 weeks, the bill is sitting on his desk, the governor has 2 weeks to sign that bill. And so we would like for you to give him a call and tell him to veto that bill, because it would be very pricey. When they're bidding for food, it would go up to 25% from 5 to 25%. So that is something that we're pushing in a lot of other districts, all 1,000 other districts within the state of California is pushing that we don't pass that bill. So we would like to let them know that we are also don't want to pass that bill, because it would hamper our kids getting a meal in the morning and one at lunchtime. The other bill that is happening up there is Assembly Bill 2774, and it has to do with Afro-American studies. They feel like we've done a lot in LCFF with low income, everybody else, all the others, EL, and everybody else, but they would like to, there's a bill now that is being put forward to help Afro-American students because they are the kids that are suffering the most in the state of California. Their scores are down, and a lot of other things are happening. They're not in a lot of the programs that they used to be in, but now we would like to have them in those programs. And this is by Weber. I don't know if you heard of Shirley Weber, who is the Secretary of State, but her daughter is the one that's putting that bill forward to pass within the state of California. That's another one, too.
Thank you, Ms.
Those
Duke.
are the two things that are happening right now. And otherwise, and then right now, right after this, everybody's running for office, so we won't have anybody out there. Everybody's out there running for office and trying to get elected. That's it.
Mr., you want to go ahead and, since you're on, you want to do your comments too right now?
Oh, my comment?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well,
Since you're already
that
on
was
the-
part of my comment.
That's what I figured, so you just go ahead on the floor. Just continue on.
You're on a roll.
You're on a roll, go ahead.
Well, anyway, again, this is Hispanic Month, and there's so many different Hispanics. It's not just one group. A lot of people have always said, well, it's the one from Mexico. No, it isn't. It's everybody that speaks a lot of Spanish, but it's been a very good month for a lot of the people. We had Asian Month, now we have Hispanic. Thank you for being here, Patrick. You know, you're at Victor Valley High School, right? And thank you, Mr. Cole, for being here. This is your second time now. Piece of cake, all right?
He's still smiling. He's still smiling.
Still smiling. Piece of cake. And thank you for being here, JC. JC is the NAACP. This is the NAACP group. Why don't you mention your names? He was the president last year. This is the president this year. And everybody mention your names there. I know you have your mask on.
Terry Thomas, NAACP branch.
Right, and that's her spouse of the first one. And then
Keisha Campbell,
and
membership chair, spouse of Mr.
then that's a spouse of that one. We do want to be a partner with you. We've been, as you know, I don't know if you know all this, but we always go and do, every year we do a introduction and we actually talk about our district of what's going on. So these are the people that we want to deal with when we're doing this. But thank you very much for being here. And thank you for telling us about that community school thing, but you know that, it's only a one-time money. I don't know if you know that. It's not a lot of money with that. But because I've been working on that for years with the community school, but that's something that, it's in the works.
I think that it's gonna be ongoing funds.
I hope so.
Fairly
I'm
certain
trying to get
it's
that
ongoing
done.
funds, but they do have, the one-time money is the start.
I know. See, when we do one time, it doesn't continue unless I go up there and yell at them and tell them, okay, we need more money for this, or we need more money for that. So that's how we get that going, yeah.
Well, we need to send you up
Yes.
there.
Yes.
Mr. Duke,
Yes.
can we acknowledge the rest of our group? We have to
Oh.
go back with them.
Sure.
Oh, where are they? Where is the rest of the group? Stand up here. Tell me who you are. Oh, yeah. Okay. The education chair.
Lizette Angulo, third vice president.
Oh, okay.
Gloria Roberts,
Oh, hi, Gloria. She's a teacher that used to be out there.
You know, I remember Miss Roberts. I actually had Miss Roberts in Young Astronauts at Atalanto Elementary School
That's a
years
teacher.
ago. I'm talking when I was in like 2nd and 3rd grade. Yeah, how funny.
That's Gloria Roberts. Yeah.
I remember Miss Roberts. How that cool.
How are you, Gloria? Well, anyway, anybody else? Oh, Laverne, how are you? How are you doing? Now, this is our community, guys, so
Yeah, absolutely.
if you want to talk about who I talk to out there, these are some of them.
We got one
And
more in the
then-
back though, Miss Dew.
Oh,
hold on.
All right,
Forgetting
go
the
on.
poor guy. Gee.
Oh, the tall guy back there. Oh, look, he's looking back.
My name is Chef Basil, and I am the gold medal chef winner that won the gold medal for the best chef in the world. But I never had a chance to make this district because when the flood came in Ridgecrest, it was all of your students that helped me make all the food in the kitchen. And we took all the food and we took it to Ridgecrest and Corona. And I'd like to come back one day and present the award because what happened was in 2019, COVID. All the food, they fed the entire town.
Wow.
And I think that was an honor that we recognized. So I'd like to come back someday and present the award that my wife and I have been holding since 2019.
Oh, my gosh, that's a long time. Wow.
We'll have our superintendent, Mr. Coles. He will be most likely to reach out to you. Fantastic. Okay,
Very
Mr.
good.
Barrios.
Okay, I might even be quick for a change. Okay, first off, I'd like to congratulate the students that got the awards from the College Board, because, you know, some of these awards are, they're never publicized, and a lot of times the students don't even really hear about them, but, you know, we're trying to recognize as many of them as we can. And Mr. Herdline, I loved your statement. Said, I don't care whose fault it is, just fix it, okay? Because that's the problem. A lot of times people want to put blame, but hey, come on, let's just get the job done and make everybody happy, which won't always happen, but you know, it could make people happy. And I thought the bottle fillers were refrigerated too, you know? Said Hook, I've said it before, Hook Junior High usually had the only water fountains that were cool in the district. And you could drink out of them, all right? So that was just a little historical thing. Okay, and a good idea came up when somebody mentioned something. Somewhere down the road, when we're doing some kind of audit checking, see if there's any of these programs that we might be paying for that we're not even using anymore. All right, it's kind of like the Big Bear property we found about, you know, about 5 years ago. You know, we own property in Big Bear. You didn't know that, did you? Not a surprise.
I'll add it to the list.
It might be lakefront, so you never know. We might be sitting on a gold mine.
That's all.
No, it's where Big Bear Middle School is right now.
It is, correct. It is, it's
So
on
maybe
it,
we
yeah.
could broker a deal, okay? A district condo up there and trade for that, okay? And last, Ms. Angulo, I just want to let you know, I've seen a bunch of your signs down, okay? Well, no, because a lot of times you don't know that. And, you know, we've all run for, you know, offices at the same time, and if you don't know stuff's down, you can't fix it, all right? So I just wanted to let you know. Because I've talked to Chef before, we pulled over on the side of the road one time and chit-chatted, all right? And, again, everybody, hopefully we all have a nice weekend, the weather's nice. A
Absolutely.
little cool, that's great, but, enjoy your weekend and see you next week.
Perfect. Mr. Castaneda.
Yeah, I got a few things, not a whole lot, but start with National Hispanic Heritage Month. It's the first day. I'm hoping we can get. It'd be nice to recognize that with a resolution. I think. Could we put that on the next agenda?
Yeah, we already did it.
We did?
Yeah.
I didn't see it. Last time?
It was on
Okay.
last night.
All right. Well, that's
Yeah.
good.
No, it was on.
Okay.
Yeah, it was on.
Better to check.
That's great. Okay, so I would draw that request. Okay. The things that you talked about, the canteen, the refrigerated water, the Kleenex, can I trust that you'll follow through with talking to the site and getting that done? We also had a teacher here who asked to be let out of her contract. I mean, these are tough economic times. She's doing a long drive.
Consider it done.
Awesome. The sanitary conditions at Lakeview. Okay, so last year, some teachers came from Lakeview and they were talking about some problems. So I went to both Lakeview and Hook, and what came out of those discussions was we hired a few more custodians for the district and we hired a few more security officers. And they were, I think, needed. I don't know whether we need more. It sounds like we may need more, but Lakeview was filthy. It was filthy. And the problem that you have when you have a filthy school is our kids need to take pride in their schools. If they're not taking pride in their schools, then there's going to be behavior problems. Because what do you care about your school for? Your school looks like a dump. There was trash littered all over campus. So I haven't been there yet this year. I'd like to get over there. But I believe when they're saying that their rooms haven't been cleaned and, you know, those kinds of things, if we could clean them up. And also, like, I'm not even sure we need carpet, because carpet's hard to keep up.
Oh,
I'd rather, we do need carpet?
Well, no, with carpet, it's once it gets dirty once, and then you don't vacuum it for 6 months, you're never getting it clean ever again.
Yeah, like, in a lot of ways, if we had tile or something more manageable, that might be a better option.
Are you talking about Lakeview?
Well,
think in
really in
general.
all of our sites, because carpet's just
Yeah.
filthy and mold grows in
Well,
there and.
I think that's one of the things that's set up to change over.
To put that over. I want to welcome the NAACP. You know, a lot of times we get, the people in our boardrooms are, you know, people who are affiliated with the district. It's great that we have community members who are interested in what's going on in our schools, because our schools serve our community. We're not here to serve our teachers and our classified staff. We're here to serve our parents and our students and our grandparents. So I'm really appreciative that you showed up. This OCR report, we need to take it seriously. We had a meeting on the OCR report where the board was going to be informed. We didn't even get quorum for that meeting. It's really important that the board, I think, take an interest. And we need to know what we need to be doing, because things have to change, right? But how do we know what needs to be changed? So that I would hope that my fellow board members would take an interest in showing up for those meetings and being informed about what the settlement involves. And the thing is, I would really like, about a year and a half ago, we voted on the SRO contracts, and I had asked for a bunch of data. And they told me, well, we'll get you the data. I haven't got the data. But along with that, they committed to forming a security task force to examine our security options and to, you know, hopefully collect data and use data to inform how the district responds to things. That hasn't been honored either. We need to form a security task force because we committed to doing that. We never did it. So, and then also I had requested suspension data. And I know that was just like 2 weeks ago, but it'd be good if we could get ongoing suspension data broke down by demographics and also contextualized by like, how do I know what, well, 10% of our students have been suspended. I don't know what that means in terms of previous years. So if I could know, you know, similar point in 2021, similar point in 2019, probably the COVID time wouldn't be that useful. But that could let us know whether we're making progress or not right now. So that's all I got.
All right, thank you. I guess that leaves me. So that was it. Everybody already said everything, so. Oh, just kidding. I was taking Penny's turn. Because I had Barbara marked off, so I figured, anyways. And Patrick, I apologize.
Well, I'll go quick. Mr. and Mrs. Campbell and Mr. and Mrs. Thomas, thank you so much for coming. We need your help. We need to involve our stakeholders, and you're an important part of that. So we do have your phone number here, and it'll go to Mr. Coles, and when we do reschedule that meeting, I hope you'll be a part of that and come and help us, because we need your help. And thank you for your members for coming out as well. I'm interested to see if we do have an LMI replacement, something where we can settle problems, resolve issues that are not negotiable, really quick, low level, whether it's Kleenex or the food storage, certainly important issues that we can get solved right away. I was so happy to see on our report the 48 additional hours for our sped teachers. They definitely need that. I think that's a start, not the ceiling, but the floor. We need to keep looking at that, so thank you. Is there some way we can get a list of what the custodial duties are in each room each night? If we could see what's expected of our custodians, I'd appreciate that. I'm gonna request again the enrollment data. I know it might be new to you. It's a sheet that's about this long. It has different colors on it. Jackie knows it, Heather knows it, Richard knows it, so maybe if one of those people can help get us that data. And I hope we can take advantage of community schools because the money is there. The one-time money for planning just helped us to plan for ongoing money that is already set aside. And there is a lot of money that could help with a lot of these issues. So I hope we can pursue that. I know Dr. Rubalcaba and Fran, you went to a conference and it's out there. I'd like to capture it. And then finally, tonight, in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month for our neighbors to the south, tonight is El Grito, when they celebrate the beginning of their Independence Day tonight and tomorrow. So Viva Mexico, and I hope everyone has a safe, wonderful weekend. The weather's great. I hope we all get to celebrate whatever we're celebrating. So thank you all very much for coming out. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Ms. Henderson. All right. Okay, Mr. Singer.
Hey, just a few things. I'll save the savvy part for last. I'd like to thank the VVTA for addressing those problems because I have two parents for teachers and I've been raised in schools all of my life. So yes, there are very much problems with class sizes and behavior and stuff like that. But I also think, and I've heard from more than one person at more than one different campus, that when problems arise in a classroom, student-teacher tension, student-student attention, we need to listen to everybody's side. I have never personally been in tension with one of my teachers, but I have seen it happen in an office where a administrator takes a teacher's side of an argument and goes strictly based off of that. I think that it demotes students' willingness to do anything. They're not motivated to be good in school if their school's not going to listen to them and appreciate what they have to say. So I do think that we need to work on something to sort that out. Thank the NAACP. Make sure I'm saying that right. Thank you guys for coming. I love the presentation. I love the speech. I think that that's something that we definitely need to continue to work with. And then finally, the suicide prevention and all of that. I don't know if any of you guys have heard. You're new, but last year the baseball team took a hit because one of my closest friends fell victim. I know Ms. James Southern. I don't know what his name was registered in the school board or the school district, but that hurt, and we all knew that it was there, but it wasn't. We got one assembly at the beginning of the year. He transferred from Silverado halfway through the year. There was nobody telling him that he could go, and I think that even if they are not in our group at risk, everyone needs to know that that's there. It's it's always a thought in the back of our mind, but when a kid like that, especially when they're already at risk, even when they're not a lost cause, but even when they're already at risk, they're not going to go seek something out like that because they believe that it's going to be too much work. If they already think that the world is versus them, they think they're just going to have to run laps to go find that help. We need somebody pushing and pushing that it's there and that it's coming to them. They don't have to go to it. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
And Patrick, it's sad to say that
Thank you.
there's no profile for somebody that commits suicide.
None.
We've had the class salutatorian at Victor, one of her. We've had the troubled student. We've had the ROTC, prim and proper everything student.
And
we've had a whole bunch, so it's really scary, and that's why I keep preaching that we need to have something so you guys could kind of see things and say, something's not right here.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, you can report it to somebody and they can kind of intervene and
Yeah.
see, is there really a problem, or is it just having a bad day? You know,
Well,
that
and the
kind of
one
thing.
thing, especially in my experience, is that the one thing everybody would say about James is that he was the last person that not only on the team, not only at the school, but the last person probably I'd ever met that I'd expect.
that's right.
I'd never met that kid when he didn't want me to be smiling. I never met that kid when he didn't greet me with a smile, especially when I was having a bad day.
That's right.
We would lose a game, and he'd pull out a card, and anybody who forgot their money, forgot their wallet, left their backpack at school, he'd buy them food. If we lost, if we won, it didn't matter. So, yeah.
So
Oh,
true.
yeah. And the best person to psychologically profile somebody that is at risk or even somewhere farther than at risk is students. Teachers, yes, I understand. My mom's been teaching for 19 school years. She has seen it, all of it, from high to low, inside out. But the best people to profile a psychologically lost student is the students around them, because they see it. I see it. I know that the ones that I see, you know, probably bad days, and I know that the resources are there. But again, the resources need to be given to them, even if it's not required. Oh, and then I was going to say about Lakeview. Personally, I went to Lakeview, 8th grade. I was on the basketball team. I can give you personal experience that yes, I don't know that I've ever been on a school campus that was that. It looked like they didn't care. Not the teachers, not the custodians, not the coaches, not anybody. The students definitely didn't care. We were on the basketball team. We won league that year. And our pride for our school was kind of like, I want to uphold it, but I'm not going to uphold something that looks like that.
All right. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Okay, now I guess I can go, right? Is that me now? Yes, all right. I'm just echoing a lot of what everybody else has already said. Thank you, Mr. Coles, for addressing the Miss Maria Gaytan situation. I think that would be a win-win on both ends. Fran, thank you so much for your community schools comments. I think that's a great idea. I've been researching a little bit into it myself, and I think it'd be awesome. You already mentioned the water stations. It's like swing and a miss, right? But the one thing I just found out, this really cool that I do want to mention is I can't believe Miss Roberts is here. I think, I had her at Young Astronauts when I was, I think,
Wow.
3rd, 4th, and 5th grade at Adelanto Elementary School. I sure did. Yep. She was my Young Astronauts teacher. So I thought that was pretty cool. That, I'm glad that, you're doing great. So, and it's really, really nice to see you. It's really, really is, I got to say. It's been a lot of years ago. Oh, wow. Awesome. Well, it's good to see you. Anyhow, that's all I have. Mr. Coles.
Yeah, I'll kind of lump everything together. I'm almost approaching the end of a 3rd week of being here. And as I listen and I listen to others, and I listen here tonight, with the NAACP here, and just, Kleenex, water fillers, suicide prevention, and the list goes on today. And I think one of the things that, in summary, is as an administrator, we have to do a much better job of checking these things off the list so that they don't rise to levels requiring people to feel the need to come to a board meeting to be heard. We have to take the ownership of it as administrators who have the power to solve these problems, not weeks, not months, not years, but fast and now, especially the ones that we can solve quickly, and build trust with the community. Not build trust, we need to rebuild trust, and rebuild trust with the associations, rebuild trust with the community that says we are a problem-solving group. We want to work together on big things, on small things, because they all matter. And as I listen and I hear things, we definitely need to continue to find a process in which to do that. so that we're working together and these things little things don't turn into big things. And that the big things are taken care of so that they don't grow even more. And so I'm not going to use the word build. We need to rebuild the trust, own the mistakes, and own where we're at to be able to move forward. So a lot of good things continue to happen, but there's the difference between going from good to great. So leave it at that.
All right, thank you, sir. Okay, motion to adjourn?
Are we going to go back
All in
to?
fa- Ooh,
Wait.
we almost, hold on, let's rewind that.
We're going
So
back-
sorry, we got to go back to
back to
closed
the closed
session.
session.
So we'll strike that, but let's go a motion to move into closed session.
So, second.
All in favor? Aye. Everybody else, that's pretty much it. We're going to go into closed session. There shouldn't be anything to report out.
Discussing anything that would
No,
require
there-
process-
There'll be no reporting out.
Yeah.
So